Floral formula. Floral formula, it is the symbolic representation of floral characters. That is called floral formula. It helps in knowing the major characteristic feature of flower in a one glance. The floral formula can be represented by symbol like for Brat. For Brat, it is BR. It is BR. Or we may say for bracteate, it is BR. For ebracteate, it is EBR. For bracteolate, it is BRL. For epicalyx, it is EPI. To represent the symmetry of flower, it is represented by such as actinomorphic. For actinomorphic symmetry, it is shown by a circle having plus at the center, plus sign at the center. A circle having plus sign at the center. For zygomorphic symmetry, it is a circle having a single line at the center. To determine the sex of flower, whether flower is male, such flower is also called as staminate flower. Staminate flower. For staminate flower, it is represented as a circle having top arrow. This is male flower. For female flower, or pistillate, it is also called as pistillate flower. It is represented as a circle having plus sign at the base. While if both the sexes are present in same flower, that is hermaphrodite, or bisexual flower, the symbol is a circle having arrow at the upper end and plus sign at the base. That is bisexual flower or hermaphrodite flower. To represent the calyx, the symbol which is used is capital K. It is capital K. If calyx has 5 sepals, or we can say the number of sepal is 5, and all the sepals are free, then such condition is also called as polysyphilis. It is represented as formula K, capital K, and 5 at the base. The K represent the calyx and 5 represent the number of sepals, and all the sepals are free, that's why it is simple 5. But when all the 5 sepals are fused, then such flower are also called as gamosepalous, and it is represented as K, that is capital K, that is for sepals, 5 for the number of sepals, and a bracket. The bracket shows that all the sepals are jointed or all the sepals are fused, or we can say it is a gamosepalous. The condition is called gamosepalous. The next is Perianth. Perianth are also called as tepals. For tepals or perianth, the sign is as capital P. It is capital P. If there are 3 tepals, and all the 3 tepals are free, then the condition is called as polytepalous. Condition is called polytepalous, and it is represented as capital P and 3 at the base, where P represent the tepals or 3 represent the number of tepals which are free. And if the number of tepals are, again it is 3, but they are fused, but the tepals are fused, then such condition is called as gamotepalous. Condition is called gamotepalous, and it is represented as capital P with 3 at the base and a bracket, having a bracket. The bracket indicate that this bracket indicate that the tepals are fused or jointed, or the condition is called as gamopetallous. Suppose the tepals are 6. The number of tepals are 6, and it is present in 2 rows. It is present in 2 rows. Then, and each row has 3 tepals. Then it is represented as capital P having 3 plus 3. The next is symbolic arrangement of androecium. Androecium is considered as male reproductive part. It is also called as stamen. It is also called as stamens, and it is represented by letter A, capital A. If the number of stamen is 5, so condition is also called as polyandrous. Now, in such condition, it is represented as A having 5 at the bottom. Next is, if the stamen is 5 and all the stamens are fused, then in such condition it is represented as capital A having 5 at the base, but there is a bracket. The bracket represent the jointed stamen. The stamen are jointed. And if the number of stamen is 10, there is 10 stamen and they are found in 2 rows. They are found in 2 rows having 5 in each row. 5 in each row. Then in such condition it is represented as the capital A 5 in single rows and 5 in another row. If in some cases stamen are absent, in those flower in which stamens are absent or it is not present, then it is represented by A having 0 at the base, means stamen are absent. And if stamen are present but the stamens are indefinite in number, the number is not fixed, it is indefinite in number, then it is represented as A and infinity at the base. The infinity represent that the number of stamen is indefinite. And but if the stamen is epipetalous, the position of stamen is epipetalous, then in such condition it is represented as C for petals, or A for androecium having upside arrow. Another condition is if stamen is epitepalous, it is also called as epiphyllous. Such condition is also called as epiphyllous. Then it is represented as P for tepal, A for androecium, and an upside arrow, like this. The next represent gynoecium. The arrangement of gynoecium is also called carpal. It is also called carpals, and it is represented by letter G. If the number of carpal is 5, if the number of carpals is 5 and all the carpals are free, then in such case it is represented by G and 5 at the base. If the number of carpal is 5 but all the carpals are fused, then such condition is represented by G, 5 at the base with bracket. The condition in which 5 carpals are free are also called as apocarpus. It is also called apocarpus. And the condition in which 5 carpals are fused are also called as syncarpus. It is also called as syncarpus. If carpals are absent, it is not present, then it is represented by letter G and 0 at the base, that is no carpal. But if The ovary is pentacarpellary. Ovary is pentacarpellary and it is syncarpous. Means having 5 carpal and all the carpals are fused, and also the position of ovary is superior ovary. Then in such case the symbolic representation is capital G, that is for gynoecium. Dash at the bottom represented the superior position of ovary, and the number of carpal is 5. Because the number of carpal is 5, then it is represented as 5 having bracket. This is called as pentacarpellary syncarpous superior ovary. This condition is found. If the ovary is again pentacarpellary, means there is 5 carpal, it is again syncarpous, but the position of ovary is not superior. If it is inferior, then the formula by which we can represent it as G at straight line at the top and 5 with bracket. This G represent the gynoecium, upper line represent the inferior position of ovary, and 5 with bracket represent the syncarpous pentacarpellary ovary. Now if another condition is there, the ovary is again pentacarpellary, ovary is again syncarpous, still the ovary is syncarpous, but the position of ovary is semi-inferior. It is semi-inferior ovary. Then in such case it is represented as capital G, 5 in bracket because it is a pentacarpellary syncarpous, and a dash at the center. This represents center of the dash is at the center like this. This is called as pentacarpellary syncarpous semi-inferior ovary. Floral diagram. Floral diagram is a diagrammatic representation of cross section of floral bud in relation to mother axis. In a floral diagram, mother axis is always represented by a spherical dot. It is always represented by a circular dot. And if we talk about Brat, this spherical dot represents the mother axis. Next to this is the Brat. The Brat is represented by this structure. This is called Brat. Epicalyx. For epicalyx, the structure is like this. This is epicalyx. Calyx. For calyx, the structure is, or the diagrammatic representation is like this. This is called calyx. For corolla, or we will also call it petals, the diagrammatic representation is half moon. It is just a half moon shape like this. It is half moon shape. For stamen, usually stamens are diathecous, that is diathecous is represented by, if it is diathecous, then it is represented by this diagram. stamen is monothecous, if stamen is monothecous, then the floral diagram is represented by this structure. This indicates the monothecous condition. If stamen is diathecous, if again stamen is diathecous and it is also extrose, it is extrose in position, it is extrosis in position, then it is represented by this diagram like this. It is diathecous and it is extrose in position, then it is represented by this diagram. If stamen is diathecous, again it is diathecous but it is not extrose, it is introse in position, it is introse in position, then it is represented by this structure. Next, if we represent staminode, for staminode there is a cross sign or it is a star shape. It is cross or it may be star in shape. Next, for monoadelphous, androecium, for monoadelphous androecium, it is represented by this diagram, a circle at the center and this diagram represents the monoadelphous condition. This is the monoadelphous androecium. If the androecium is monoadelphous, and then in such case it is expressed by or it is represented by this floral diagram. This is the monoadelphous condition. This is the monoadelphous condition. This is the monoadelphous condition of androecium. If it is syngenaceous, androecium is syngenaceous, then it is diagrammatically expressed by or represented by this diagram like this. This is a diagrammatic representation of syngenaceous androecium. The syngenaceous androecium is diagrammatically represented like this. If the nectar secreting gland is present, nectar secreting disc is represented as secreting disc is present on the carpal, present around carpal, then it is diagrammatically expressed like this. See, it is diagrammatically, it looks like this. If gynoecium is present and gynoecium is monocarpellary, that is a single carpal is present in a gynoecium, then The diagrammatic expression or representation of such gynoecium is like this. It is look like this. This is a diagrammatic representation of the gynoecium having monocarpellary ovary. Next, if the gynoecium has bicarpellary ovary, the gynoecium has bicarpellary ovary, and the ovary is syncarpous, that is, ovary is fused, it is syncarpous, then in such condition the diagram is like this. This is a gynoecium, and this diagram showing the ovary are, the bicarpellary ovary are fused. This is the diagrammatic representation of gynoecium having having bicarpellary syncarpous ovary. When gynoecium has tricarpellary, it is tricarpellary, again the ovary is syncarpous, means it is again fused, then it is diagrammatically represented by this diagram. This is a diagrammatic representation of the ovary which is tricarpellary having 3 carpels. These are the 3 carpels, and this condition is the syncarpous condition. The condition is syncarpous condition, and this is called as gynoecium with tricarpellary syncarpous ovary. Another condition is gynoecium with pentacarpellary and syncarpous ovary. The diagrammatic representation of such kind of ovary is, it is like this. This is the gynoecium having pentacarpellary ovary, and all the ovaries are fused. All the ovaries are fused. Because all the ovaries are fused, so it is called syncarpous condition. This condition is syncarpous condition, and it is represented like this. This is the floral arrangement or floral representation